Are the eggs divorced or are the salsas divorced? Was it a red and green salsa that got together and had eggs, and then they got divorced and split up, and now you have red and green, you're having a joint custody deal? I guess it's really huevos joint custody. How do you say joint custody in Spanish? Today on Don't Panic Pantry, we are making Huevos Divorciados, one of my all-time absolute favorite breakfasts in the world. It's basically eggs and beans, but the eggs have two different types of salsa, a red salsa and a green salsa. This dish I had for the first time at a lovely little restaurant here in Los Angeles called Monte Alban, which is a Oaxacan restaurant. They make a lot of really, really good stuff, like clayudas and stuff like that, but I love going there for breakfast, getting a little Mexican coffee with some of that sugar in there, a little cinnamon, and then huevos divorciados. So we're gonna try to do the simplest version that we can do using just the oven. We're gonna roast all of our ingredients together under the broiler, and then we're gonna split them up, blend them up, fry them up, egg them up, bean them up, eat them up. First thing we gotta do is peel our tomatillos. So all you're doing is just taking this husk off, putting it in the bowl. So I got 2 pounds each of tomatillos and tomatoes. These salsas also freeze pretty well, so if you wanted to freeze them, put them in little containers, and then when you're thinking, hey, tomorrow I think I might want some huevos divorciados, all you gotta do is defrost it, heat it back up, you've got eggs. Now, I'm just gonna take this little stem off the serrano, throw them in, tomatoes in the bowl, and I'm just gonna give these a quick rinse. Sometimes tomatillos have a little bit of that extra sticky stuff on them. I don't think it really matters, but I rinse them anyway. Now I'm taking a couple of garlic cloves in there. So we got tomatoes, tomatillos, garlic, and serranos. Obviously, if you want it spicier, add more, milder, add less. Basically, you're just taking a little bit of oil, just enough to kind of lightly coat them, and then some salt. Now basically, you're just gonna give this a little toss. You can use your hands too. You can also just do this method. I'm just gonna pick them up and place them in, because there's inevitably gonna be some oil and water at the bottom of the bowl. All right, now, it's actually kind of pretty too. You don't have to broil these. You can simmer it in water. You could throw it on the grill, pan sear it. The goal is just to get color on these, and this is kind of the easiest way to do them all at the same time. Once it starts to get blackened on one side, you turn and try to blacken the other side, getting as much blackening as you can without having it like devolve into mush. And I'll give these a little turn. So depending on the strength of your broiler, you're probably looking at like 5 minutes per side, something like that. But you know, there's no rules. When it's blackened, it's blackened. When it's not, it's not. If you cooked it for an hour and it's not blackened at all, your oven might be off. Oh yeah. So this is looking nice. You know, they're not all gonna be charred perfectly. Some will be more charred than others, but it gets the job done. All right, now we're gonna make our 2 salsas. Let's start with the red. So we're gonna take one of our 2 garlic cloves, and then all of the tomatoes. And then let's take 1 whole serrano. Should we risk it? And just go full 1 serrano on this? I think it'll be fine. And then we'll see how spicy that is, and we'll adjust on the other one. A little pinch of fresh cilantro. If you are one of those people who doesn't like the taste of cilantro because it tastes like soap to you, then yeah, I know, because you keep telling people about it, but also just leave it out. And then a little healthy pinch of salt. We're just gonna blend this. You could also do it with like a immersion blender. You can do it with a normal blender. I happen to have this NutriBullet, not a sponsor, but I use it a lot, and I would love you to be a sponsor. And now, cue sound. Just gonna pour it right in here. So yeah, if you were just making this for a few people, you could probably cut this recipe in half. That's like a perfect medium spicy, like real medium, not like fake medium. But for the sake of contrast, I might go a little lighter on the green, so I might just de-seed this chili. Now, I don't recommend freehanding this, but I didn't want to get it on the cutting board. And I'm gonna wash my hands, because I'm too dumb to forget to rub my eyes. So we're gonna put these guys in there. All that tomatillo juice is your friend. And then, once again, grab a pinch of cilantro, leave it out if you don't want it. I usually will add a little splash of water to a tomatillo salsa because it's so much more pectin-y and thick that it kind of needs a little opening up, and it's so acidic, probably like a tablespoon. Oh, buddy boy. You can see those little charred, blackened bits you get in there? That's that little extra char flavor you're getting. Ooh, it's a tart little boy. Also the contrast with the eggs and the beans, it's gonna be great. All right, so we got like a medium heat. Do a decent amount of oil. You want some fat in this, about half the onions, which is about half an onion. So the goal is to get these nice and softened up. I'm gonna add a little extra pinch of salt. Since this one, I probably put a little more oil than I want, I'm gonna do the tomatillo salsa in it because it wants that extra fat to combat the acid. That's the key. All right, so now we're getting some browning around the edges on plenty of them. We're ready to add in our tomatillos. Activate splatter mode. I'll let this simmer for probably a good 2 or 3 minutes until it kind of thickens up a little bit more. Ooh, yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, see now it's kind of starting to unify more. It doesn't look as you don't see puddles of oil. So now, from whence you came. Repeat as before. From whence you came. Yeah, might do a touch more salt in there.
I think I need to do a compilation of you going, yeah, touch more salt, it needs salt.
Yeah, that's gonna be your smooth, your comfort zone with a little heat on the back, and this guy comes in with a little boom. Was that a left hook? As a renowned pugilist myself, I'm gonna fry up some tortillas, a little oil. Yeah, with a corn tortilla, I like some oil to kind of rehydrate it and help it kind of get nice and fattened up. A little oil in the pan. I've got it on low because it's still got a lot of residual heat left in the pan. I kind of like them to cook side by side so I can just do a little double egg slam. Do a little salt. And I'm looking for an over easy, I want a nice runny egg. And here we've got just some basic black beans. If you want a little guide on how to cook beans, I've got good news for you. We have a lot of content for you. You could also refry some beans, fry them up a little bit, but I kind of like just the classic, just like this. And then let's get divorced, folks. If you want cheese, you can definitely add cheese. A little cotija would be great, but sometimes I like to go pretty pure. And then you kind of get a little yolk break action. I'm not usually this far from the plate when I eat food. That one's delicious. That's great too. And then, inevitably, what ends up happening is you get a little mixing and matching. They start to kind of meet together in the middle. This is one of my favorite breakfasts in the world. I hope we did it justice. 2 sauces, 2 eggs, beans. You get your protein, you get your fiber, you get some lycopene from the tomatoes. Good for your prostate. Eliza, do you want to try some?
So it's called Huevos Divorciados
Because red and the green salsa got married, and then they got divorced, and now they have split custody. So you spend...
Of the plate.
Yeah. But then they're going to get back together in the end.
In my body? Then
Yeah.
in the toilet bowl. Ew. This is delicious.
And this is basically there's a little bit of fat, like oil that you cook the eggs in, and you fry the salsa in a little bit, but other than that, it's basically just vegetables and beans and eggs.
It's great.
I made
Did you
enough
make
of the-
these salsas?
Yeah,
You homemade these salsas?
of course.
Or as they say in Spanish,